I'm not going to lie to you. Being an actor can be a stressful endeavor, consistently and constantly being at the ready, dealing with the uncertainty, the rejection, the humiliation, the anxiety of not knowing how you're going to pay your bills. But it can be quite fruitful and rewarding as well, of course. Otherwise, who in their right mind would want to put themselves through this? It is a tough racket, though, and it's not for the meek or timid. But even the most hardened professionals can find themselves in need of a little tender, loving care from time to time. That's why it is critical to have access to a network, a community, and a method or a range of methods that can help to support you, the performer, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, on your path to greatness. Today, Jay and I are with Amanda Lara Kay, an old friend who has developed a method for helping actors and others when they need a therapeutic tune-up. Originally from South Africa, Amanda is an actor and world-class dancer with over 20 years' experience traveling and performing all over the world. She now specializes as a well-being coach through her Self-Works program. With a background in social work, she combines therapeutic coaching, tailored well-being exercises, and Reiki healing to help clients reduce stress, reframe negative thoughts, and improve confidence. Her program offers personalized support and spiritual tools for mental clarity, emotional resilience, and personal growth. And I can tell you it worked wonders for me and Jay because she put us through one of her exercises right here on the show. So seriously relaxing that I actually fell asleep during my own podcast. Sorry for the snoring. So, find your happy place, prepare yourselves for tranquility, and empty your minds on this episode of the Offstage Acting Podcast with Amanda Lara Kay. Let's dance. Let's dance. Here we are. We're dancing.
We're dancing, everyone. We're dancing.
We're dancing to the Offstage Acting theme.
That's right, funky.
We're so glad to have you back with us.
We're really glad, really.
It's going to be fun today.
Yes.
Trust me. It's always fun here on the Offstage Acting Podcast. Welcome aboard. Welcome back. Hello, Jay.
Hello, Todd.
How you doing, my little buddy?
How am I doing? I am all right despite the weight of the world. How are you?
Wow. I love the enthusiasm, despite the fact that you are clearly going through a mental moment.
That's fine.
That's
Mental
fine.
moments happen.
Mental moments do happen, and that brings us right into our guest. To be honest.
Wow. Is this the fastest transition we've ever had?
Pretty much, because we just went there when you opened up about your...
Well, you asked me how I was, so it's your fault.
Are you feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders?
No, because I am refusing it.
Right. I think you've got those first world problems because you've got a lot going for you, buddy.
No. That's exactly.
Yeah.
So, sometimes feelings are just feelings, and you just got to be like, hey, bro, actually, you're fine.
That's true.
So how are you?
Feelings are feelings, and then you just need somebody to go, hey, man, you're cool. You're fine. Yeah. Everything's good. I'm excellent. I'm great. I'm strained. 'Tis the season, I think. It's this couple of months before Christmas when everything stops again for 2 weeks, and the month after summer, so everything is picking right up.
Right back up.
Yeah, it's just up, and you're just on a treadmill. You're just running. But we got a lot of great news at the Offstage Acting Podcast. We got our team has expanded. We got 5 new members on board to the team.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 6, I guess, actually. So there's now the team is expanded. We're gonna be moving and shaking soon, and I'm gonna start introducing everybody to the team and the team to everybody very soon. So we're excited about that. A lot of new updates and a lot of new hopes and dreams.
Hot Toddy's becoming a cult leader, everybody.
Yeah. It's not quite there yet. We're gonna get there. The cult of acting.
Cult of Offstage.
Performance acting cult for actors. Yeah. So Today's special guest, this might be the first African,
Oh.
South African,
Oh.
yeah, that we've had on the show. I was trying to think. We've had a collection of people from all over the world, but we have not yet.
A menagerie.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we have no one from South Africa yet.
Yeah.
That's
So
exciting.
it's kind of exciting. Yeah. She's a ball of energy. She's a delight. I was like kind of,
We love that.
yeah. I met her in a. You remember that thing that Nigel was talking about in episode 3? Nigel Barber.
Nigel Barber.
Remember
Wow.
Nigel? Yeah,
That's already a blast of the past.
going way back now. Yeah, like almost 9 months ago.
Almost 9 months ago.
And we had a kind
This
of
is
a
the gym that you're talking about?
we had
gym?
an acting workshop thing that we did like a regular weekly, and Amanda was there often, and we did a lot of scenes and stuff together.
How cool.
Yeah. We went to the pub afterwards, and always
British.
got on pretty well because she is South African, which is kind of a more sprightly cultural type of person, a little bit more warm-blooded than the average Brit, if you will. So and she's a bit of a character, let's say. A lot of fun. She's a lot of fun to be around.
Fantastic.
And she's got a kind of a program that we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about mental health.
Oh, wow, you weren't joking. That is
No, I wasn't joking. That's right. Mental health for actors. Yeah.
This is great.
Might be right on time for you.
Yeah,
like
thanks.
in the nick of time.
Like in the nick of time.
Like
what's that hinting at?
Like the alarm bells are ringing.
No. It's
But as you know, it's an ongoing kind of, it's not easy. Actors, I think everybody kind of understands, but particularly actors and anybody who's ever tried it understands that there's a lot of stress, a lot of strain, right?
Yeah.
You get a lot of ups and downs. The highs are very high. The lows are very low, mostly because of rejection and things like that.
And money.
The money. Oh, yeah, that's right. You never know where your next
root
meal
chakra
is coming from. Yeah. I remember raiding the craft services table at a job thinking, this is great. I'm shooting this film for the next 2 weeks. Forget the money or the credit.
Money. I just get food.
I show up, I load up my bag with fried chicken and take it home. And
that's right. Energy bars.
I'm eating this week. Yeah.
Fill your thermos with milk.
Fruit.
Put that in the fridge.
Come back with milk from the set. Craft services table. Yeah. So there's a lot that goes on for actors who are trying to make a go of it in the world. And it's a whole thing. So her name is Amanda Lara Kay.
Lovely.
We're going to get to the bottom of the 3 names as well as we do. We have a little clip.
Okay.
So let's check out Amanda and see what her story is.
Amanda Lara Kay.
This just a little taste of Amanda, some of her funny. Okay, here we go.
Some of her funny. Okay.
There's some of her funny.
Why visit my diner? Oh, wait a minute. We could make this like the advertisement I did for the radio. Okay, hold on now.
She's doing Southern American.
Cut. Howdy. Jessie here from Jessie's Diner for the tastiest treats in town. Come and try our legendary ranch burgers. Delicious! And all locally sourced from Farmer Flo's farm. Have you heard about our crazy cyclone shakes? They are sure to put you in a spin. Yes, sirree. We're open every day, so come on down. Jessie's Diner, the best food in the county and service with a smile.
Oh, and there's the smile.
How was that?
Well, questionable.
It is just so fabulous now that it is complete. The refurbishment is just so amazing. It's so light and so airy. I simply cannot wait to welcome our guests and show them all the delicious treats we have in store.
Tornado Springs Tourism Bureau. All right, here she is, Amanda. Welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Hello. There's the real accent. Proper South African accent. By the way, I just want to say, first off, advertisement. That's not American. It's the advertisement. Advertisement.
Yes.
So you're gonna have to reshoot that whole. Unfortunately. How are you, Amanda? Good to see you.
I'm very, very well, Todd. So wonderful to see you again on a different format this time
Right.
because we know each other from acting class, don't we?
That's right. Yeah, and that was a decade ago.
You know what? I think it was 2014. It was a decade ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun. Hi, Jay.
Hello. Wow, 2014.
Yeah.
What was I doing? Anyway.
Jay was in diapers.
Were
I was
you
in
born?
diapers. I wasn't even born yet. Oh my gosh. My parents hadn't even been married yet. No. I was in New York City.
Yeah. Okay, so Amanda, talk us through it. I want to start from the beginning, as we do. You are from South Africa. I got it
Correct.
right. Yeah.
Yes.
But you sound like you're from Australia. Tell us about that.
Well, I won't hold it against you, Todd, because lots of people make these mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, the Antipodean states that either think, it's like South African, Australian, New Zealand. It all sounds kind of similar, right? So
Yeah.
I won't take it personal that if somebody thinks I'm from New Zealand or Australia. But yes, I hail originally from Johannesburg, South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
But I will note that my accent does get very confusing because I spent 10 years, I don't know if you know about this, but I spent 10 years in New York. So there is
Wow.
sometimes kind of like an American sort of drawl or American twang to me because, I spent such a long time there. And then I was in Italy for 5 years, and now we've been in London for 14. So my accent is kind of like all over the place. It's just like a mishmash of everything.
Right.
Ah,
Yeah.
cool.
So how did you escape Joburg?
A lion was running after me. No, I'm kidding.
You got chased out by a lion? It's full of lions, right? They're
It's
just
full
wandering
of
the streets down there.
beautiful wildlife.
I've been to Johannesburg, by
Oh,
the
you
way.
have?
I have.
Oh, I didn't
yes,
know that.
for a job. Yeah, I was
Oh,
working
okay.
as an actor.
Oh.
All expenses paid trip to
Oh.
Joburg. Yep.
Oh,
Went
we
to
learn
Soweto.
something new every day.
Yeah. It was cool. It was good times.
Oh,
I enjoyed
good.
it.
Weather?
And yeah, because I went there in like December, I think, and it was freezing here. But I went there and it was like summer there.
Oh, it's summer because it's on the
Yeah.
southern
because it's
hemisphere.
way down
Yes.
south. Yeah, it's all the way down there. And
Oh,
so yeah,
fantastic.
it was awesome. I was sunning myself by the pool. It was hardly felt like work at all. But I loved it. Yeah, I loved it. It was great. I was hoping we could go to Cape Town. We didn't because obviously, given a choice, Joburg or Cape Town, what are you going to choose?
Well, you're going to choose Cape Town. I mean, it's
Correct.
just one of the most stunning places
Yeah.
on the planet. Interestingly enough, they do a lot of acting and shooting in Cape Town, just because the backdrop and the
Yeah.
scenery is so amazing and the weather is so amazing. So there is a lot of TV commercials and productions shooting
And
out there.
modeling shoots and
Modeling
fashion.
shoots.
They do a ton of fashion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
commercials. So
Yeah.
you'll also start to find when actors look at castings, they'll start to find that a lot of stuff actually commercially wise, stuff that is cast here in the UK, they'll sometimes fly out to Cape Town to shoot the actual job and then fly the actors back.
Yeah, that's essentially what happened. I mean, the scene I did, or the few scenes that I did for the program was meant to be Louisiana. I think initially we were supposed to go to Louisiana, but they couldn't get it sorted out. I was looking forward to that as too. It was going to be kind of New Orleans, but all of a sudden they were like, "Okay, we're going to South Africa to shoot this thing to make it look like Louisiana," and it worked out.
Is it just cheaper?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
quite a bit cheaper, obviously, as well. And the crews are there. They shoot a lot of stuff in Johannesburg, and Cape Town. So they were a fully professional film crew. Had everybody, small industry there, but everybody knew everybody, and everybody worked on a ton of projects. So like fully competent. experience in terms of the acting. I don't know, what was your, so how did you kind of start acting?
So, how I started acting, well, I was a kid. I started out in commercials actually.
Right.
Huh.
Starting out at like 5 years of age, and I
Oh,
just kept on booking loads and loads of commercials.
Mm,
Um, and then I also did presenting as well. But then sort of my focus reshifted into professional dance.
right.
And that's how I ended up in New York for 10 years, traveling globally and performing internationally in Broadway and off Broadway and TV films and commercials. And then I was in Italy for 5 years, performing based in between Italy and Milan and Rome, doing all of the variety television shows out there. And then I came back to acting when I was in London.
Right.
And so basically for the last 14 years, I sort of reshifted that focus to more acting and presenting.
Okay.
wow.
So yeah, so the commercial work sounds like it was maybe sort of more for the experience and maybe the money and for the fun of it. Not exactly like you weren't. Obviously at 5, you're not in it for the acting. You're not going to mommy and daddy going, I think I want to do this. So who forced you to be a child laborer? Is what I think that's the question.
So I pretty much came out of the womb like dancing. I mean,
Yeah.
there's like pictures of me like at 3 with a feather boa on and just prancing and doing funny faces in the mirror.
Right.
I think just performance and dance and acting was something that I was born with,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
and I just wanted to be on the stage. I mean, I think my memory serves me correctly. When I was 5, my parents went to take me to see a pantomime, and at the end of the pantomime show, the whole cast came on stage to do their bows. And I said to my mom, I was like, "Oh, I want to get up on stage with them." And of course, my mother's like, "Do it." And so basically, I ran up onto
Onto
the
the stage.
stage, this 5-year-old little girl, and be like, "Hi, I'm here." And these actors are like, "Oh my gosh, like, what do we do with this kid?" And they scooped me up in their arms, and they were all in like the sort of the line, and they all
Uh-huh.
held me, and they sort of started dancing into the wings like this, holding me, and made me as part of their prop for the bows.
That's amazing. So you were drawn to the spotlight early days, huh?
100%,
And no shame.
100%.
No. Did you come from a like a performance background? Were your parents involved in the arts?
No, my cousin was actually a famous ballerina by the name of Phyllis Spira. She was the doyen of ballet in South
Oh,
Africa, and she
right.
was world famous, and she danced for the Royal Ballet. So I think, I don't know if genetically sort of those kind of talents and genes pass down through to you. But in terms of my parents, no. But in terms of my cousin, there was this famous ballerina. But for me, it was just like, even if I loved having an audience. I don't know if this happened to you when you were kids, but we used to have this house, and it had these stairs, and the lounge was sort of like at the bottom of these stairs, and there would be these like sliding doors. And I
Okay.
would choreograph and produce and direct my brother and sister to be in this show.
Mhm.
And
Uh,
what we used to do is we put our parents and all the family friends in the lounge, and then
Mhm.
I would like bust open the
Yeah.
sliding doors, and I'd be like, "Presenting the show." And that
Yeah.
was my childhood,
This sounds like my 8-year-old. The never-ending show, by the way, she does. She'll do 45-minute shows, and then you go,
Oh,
"Okay, that
really?
was great." And she'll go, "That was the first part. We now have 2 more parts. You have a 5-minute intermission." You're like, "Oh boy."
oh my god.
I
And the
love
show
her
is,
already.
yeah.
I love
I
her
can
already.
picture you at 8 doing it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I got the vibe. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, tell us a little bit about kind of, I mean, in South Africa at the time, are you like, what was the entertainment like available on television and in theater, film? Were you going to see things? Were you watching stuff, or were you just enthralled?
So, I mean, I think, when I was very young, it was about doing all of these commercials. It was like, I think it's when you're younger, you've got nothing kind of like holding you back. There's like no judgments.
Right.
And I remember my mom took me to my first agent and I ran up to her and I was like, "Hi, my name's Amanda Kay." And I was just booking commercials after commercials after commercials. But then I think it shifted because my focus started to become more about professional dance.
Hmm.
And
Right.
so obviously, when you're a performer, with acting, there's a lot of transferable skills. When you're dancing, you're still portraying a message, you're still acting,
Yeah.
but you're acting without words through your body, right?
Hmm.
Hmm.
So it was I took all of those acting skills and then I sort of fused them more into my professional dance.
Hmm.
So acting in South Africa, I was like very young. There were like a lot of pantomimes and shows, but in terms of like straight theater and theatrical productions, I mean, it's incredibly sparse
Yeah.
compared to what we have available here in London. And
Hmm.
that was actually one of the reasons why I moved to London from Italy when I wanted to reshift my focus from professional dance to acting. I
Mm.
really wanted to be close to the essence of, Theatreland, which is London.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. That's why I was kind of curious because I have this picture. I don't know if it's correct, but South Africa back. I don't say how old you are, but back a few years ago. Let's say at least 20 years ago when you were a kid. Probably not a lot going on. So what
No.
what you know what entices someone like I grew up in America, Southern California, close to LA. I was inundated with entertainment, television. It was all around. There was plenty to watch, plenty of to see. We went to theater. So it was kind of like available, and you could see a trajectory. But
Yeah.
I don't know if there was a lot of that going on in South Africa at the time where you could go, okay, other than some commercials that you could do as a kid, you know, were you doing plays at school? Was there a community theater? You know, are there local African celebrities?
So I did do a lot of, well, in my younger years, as it were, I was cast as the king in The King and I, and I actually, yeah, I know
You were that
it was
outgoing.
such a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and I actually ended up winning the drama award that year for sort of
As
playing
the king in The King and
as
I.
the king, as the Yul Brynner
Did they put a bald
character.
cap on you? Or they
I did
just,
not go bald.
yeah, okay.
No, I think I just had my hair scraped back in a ponytail.
Mm,
Right.
mhm,
And then I played Joseph in a Technicolored dream coat. So
mm,
that was a lot of fun.
Amazing.
So yes, I did do a lot of plays in school, and then there was sort of the more sort of booking a lot of TV commercials outside of school. But you're right, Todd. In South Africa, in the early 80s, 90s, there wasn't a lot going on.
Yeah.
It was very, very sparse, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, if anybody was sort of talented in any way, shape, or form, whether it was, theatre or acting or dancing, unfortunately, at that time, South Africa lost a lot of its homegrown talent, as it were, to
Right.
overseas opportunity.
mm,
And that's also kind of what happened to me because I graduated from the National School of the Arts when I was 18. And then I flew straight to New York City to study at
Mm.
the Alvin and Ailey American Dance Center.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
Wow.
yeah. So, South Africa, I think in the past has lost a lot of international talent. I think it's different now. Post apartheid, we're really given an opportunity not just, to perform within a theatrical or acting context, but to be able to present and expose and perform ourselves in all myriad and genres of talents within the international stage. So things have changed a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's
Hmm.
improved. Yeah. 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 So at what age did you get into dance?
What age did I get into dance? I basically came dancing out of the womb. I was
No, I
just
mean, but properly, like you went to your first ballet class or however. What
so
was
what
the?
happened was is that my mother came to England because my grandmother was quite ill at the time, and my mother had to tend to my grandmother think we were in London, and my mother needed a day center, sort of just to like look after me whilst she tended to my nan.
Yeah.
And it ended up being like a ballet dance school sort of center
Mm.
for
Oh.
youngsters. And I think I was maybe 3 or 4,
Uh-huh.
something. And
Oh,
my mother
wow.
left me there for the day. And then at the end of the day, the sort of the ballet teacher or the dance instructor, whoever she was, went up to my mother and she's like, I beg of you, you have got to put this girl into dance class, whatever you do.
Oh,
Right.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
Yeah. And so she ended up giving my mom a list of well known ballet teachers in Johannesburg, South Africa.
Mm.
And that's
Wow.
kind of how it all began.
All right. So your grandmother's English.
My grandmother is English, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So my grandmother's English well, my mother was born in Bournemouth. So my
Oh, right.
grandmother's English. My father is South African.
Right.
Mm.
Okay. So you went back, your mother started enrolling you in school, and you took to it like a fish to water.
I took to it like a fish to water. Like dance at that point in my life was it was life. It was
Mm.
almost kind of like I couldn't breathe without dancing. It was just so enmeshed in my psyche.
Right.
And I guess it's kind of like something that I just needed to get out of my system, really. And I did. And I had the most, I'm so grateful to have had the most amazing dance career. I mean, I danced for Broadway, off Broadway. I did TV, films, commercial, backup dancing. I toured internationally with
Amazing.
modern dance companies. And I had the most incredible career. And I'm just so grateful to have been able to travel the world and experience that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Mostly modern dance.
So basically, I was classically trained, as you know, and then I went to the National School of the Arts in Johannesburg, South Africa, and I graduated there. But then when I flew to New York, I studied at the Elvin and Ailey American Dance Center, and basically then I
Cute.
branched out into modern
Right.
musical theater, Horton, all different types of modern based techniques.
Yeah. Can we show a little clip? I want to let's check out now that we talked about it so much. Here we go.
Oh,
It's you I should be checking. So she leaves a female with her cosmic eyes.
uh,
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
she's just a cosmic girl. Oh, yeah. From another
That's
galaxy.
a cat from Cats.
My heart says you
That was Leonard and Minky. That was an off Broadway show that I did in New York.
Little ballet there.
So that's Nutcracker, Sugar Plum Fairy.
Nice.
she's cosmic.
So this is a TV show in Milan,
Right.
dancing for a world famous singer called Adriano Celentano.
Nice. Okay. Wow. Cool.
Wow.
But that's cool, right, Jay?
Oh,
Oh, the little
that's
clap.
awesome.
Little clap for Jay.
Thank you.
Stunning.
Yeah. Nice. Nicely done. Yeah. Looking great. Looking great there. Are you still dancing? A little bit?
I am retired.
Oh, completely? Not even the discotheque?
Go to the club.
I love, listen, I love my EDM. I love going clubbing. I will go out clubbing till 6 a.m. in the morning. I think dance is such an incredible way to self regulate and to release trauma. And that is one way that I self regulate is actually going clubbing till 6 o'clock in the morning. So, yes, I still go raving, I still go clubbing. And it's still very much, even though I'm not working and touring professionally as a professional dancer per se, because I mean, professional dance careers have a cap. It's like
Yeah.
professional football or any kind of, professional sports
Physical
athlete.
sport.
Physical, yeah.
Yeah, it
And
ends quite young.
yeah, the endurance and the impact on the body takes its toll pretty quickly, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Who was some of your kind of teachers that you can remember that were influential, or who do you remember anybody
So,
that
I
you worked
mean,
with?
well, there was my teacher back in South Africa, Jenny Barlow. She was the one that really kind of stuck with me from the beginning. And it's so funny because a lot of these teachers, whether they're ballet teachers or acting teachers, a lot of their time, a lot of the time, they're unsung heroes
Mm.
because teachers in any way, shape, or form, whether it's a dance teacher or an acting teacher, are unsung heroes because they contribute so much to our lives, even though it's through the form of a specific art form, but also in terms of like molding you as a person.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say one of the most influential teachers was the first teacher that my mother got the contact from in London was Jenny Barlow.
Mm.
And then, as you go on to study dance throughout the years, you change as a performer, you change as an artist. And I think there's certain teachers that can come to you and give you certain things about a technique at that specific moment in your life that I feel that can really help mold you as a performer and as a
Mm.
creative. So they were numerous, but I would say Jenny Barlow was the main one, which was my first ballet
Okay.
teacher.
It's interesting because I kind of have this imagination that maybe similar to acting that, there's this drive to perform, get on stage, play parts, play characters, try things out, just play. But
Mm.
at some point, it's like you recognize that, oh, this actually requires some discipline. And then dancing, maybe even more than acting, requires like real rigorous physical discipline as well as mental. And it, maybe that's where a lot of people sort of fall off after they go, well, it's fun, but I don't want to work too hard at it. So, like, at what level does this little girl who just loves jumping around and putting on kind of shows in the living room all of a sudden go, okay, I'm in this system now, I'm being looked at, but I'm going to have to work.
Well, I mean, I think whatever shape or form you decide to build your craft, there has always, always, always got to be some form of discipline. I'm a
Mm.
firm believer if, it's not enough to have talent, right?
Yeah.
So even if you're a talented actor or a talented dancer or whatever it is, you can have the talent, but without putting the work in through the process of discipline, you're not going to
Yeah.
get anywhere.
Yeah, but so then in what stage did you kind of recognize, okay, I got to put in work in, and then you're okay with that rather than just go, I just wanted to have fun, because that would be the end of, that's where the line between enjoyment and a hobby and career for me, that's where the line is. And if you cross that line and go, okay, I'm going to put in that work, and this is what it's going to take, it formulates itself into a dream that you want to realize.
Right. So that happened actually when I was 15. I was very, very big into sports, and
Mm,
I wasn't at the National School of the Arts. I should have gone earlier in standard 6. And I was like, look, all of my friends that are at National School of the Arts, they're better at me. They're doing it every day. I need to move over to the ballet school. And the school I was in said, look, we want you to stay and do sports. We'll offer you a bursary.
mm,
And so I ended up staying for another 2 years to do the sports. But after those 2 years, I was like, actually, do you know what? Like, what am I doing? What,
mm,
like, I
Mm.
need, and it was at that point I made that decision. Like, I could see all my friends getting better because they were doing the ballet and the dancing and the
right.
regimental classes within the school. And I was busy, like, trying to do the dancing, trying to do the swimming, trying to do the running and all of that kind of stuff. And so I think at that point, when I turned 15, I was like, okay, I'm going to make a go at this. I'm going to go to the National School of the Arts. I'm going to become as good as my friends are. And I think that was the turning point for me.
Mm,
Mm.
right. Okay. And so that was the commitment that you decided.
Absolutely. That
Yeah.
was the turning point.
Yeah.
And I had no idea what was going to happen in terms of how my life was going to change. The Alvin Ailey American Dancers Center came over to New York. They actually have a company,
Right.
and they did performances, and they just happened to have auditions for
It
some of
came
the
from New York to
dancers.
Johannesburg.
Yes.
Ah, okay. And you got a
Yes.
chance. That's how you got in. Nice.
And that's how I got in.
Right.
So I had no idea how my life was going to unfold at that point. I was planning on going to the local Johannesburg ballet theater after I'd finished high school. I
Right.
had no
Mm.
idea that I was going to be
Right.
flying to New York at age 19.
Yeah. Right. And then have this kind of opportunity placed in front of you. Rare opportunity
Absolutely.
too, right?
Very rare opportunity. Very rare opportunity. I think, if you're in South Africa at that point
Mm,
where, opportunity is scarce in whatever way, shape, or form, I think
yeah.
if you are able to get out and be able to expose yourself on an international platform, I think it's a lot better. And so I was just really
Sure.
lucky and grateful to have that opportunity.
Yeah. So what was the shift then after 5 years in New York? Yeah.
10 years in New York.
10. Wow. Okay. Jay lived in New York for what, 7 years, Jay?
7. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? What years were you there, Jay?
Hey, that's not good for a podcast to go like that into a
20. I'm
microphone.
just trying to make sound until I find
Oh.
out the answer.
Nobody needs that.
2020,
Hold
and
on.
then it was when I left,
2020.
and then 2013 when I went there.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
7. So 13 plus 7 equals 20. Okay. Wow. Okay.
Well, I would have hit you up if
Veterans, I
You
I
weren't-
would have hit you up if we were there together.
Yeah, you weren't there at the same time.
No.
10 years in New York, a lot of success.
It was successful because I was able to dapple between all genres of the industry. So I worked in TV, I danced in TV, I did commercials, I danced in Broadway. I got a main Broadway part for Moving Out, and I toured the States for about a year and a half. I did off Broadway, which was that cat character that you saw, Leonard and Minky. Basically, I was based in New York and just touring and performing globally. And then I was in a modern dance company called Momex, and I traveled the globe for about 3 to 3.5 years performing with them. So it was just the most amazing experience. And what was great for me is that I didn't just do classical dance, or I didn't just do modern, and it wasn't just for one medium, but it was a myriad of mediums:
Right.
TV, film, commercial, backup dancing.
Yeah.
And so I was lucky enough to be able to have such a diverse career. And then I was based in Italy for those 5 years, which was that little clip that you saw with me dancing with the rock star Adriano Celentano. They have a lot of variety television shows out there in Italy.
Right,
It's
yeah.
quite old school. I don't know if you kind of remember sort of, Cher and Sunny, how they'd have in the 70s that have like the
Yeah.
singing and the dancing. They still have that in Italy.
They
So
have it
I
a
was
lot of
doing-
places in Europe. It's a very Eastern European thing as well.
Right,
They still
okay.
they go with the old
So-
classic. Yeah.
So I was doing that, traveling between Milan and Rome, performing on all of the variety television shows out there, and then shifted my focus to be in London for the last 14 years now.
Right. And at what point did you so after Italy, that was when you sort of said, well, all right, no more dance. Because at that point you're about 20 or 35, I guess, something like that, right?
So I moved to London in 2010, and I was 30.
30, yeah. I think that's when I met you, because I moved to London also in 2010. And at
Oh, yes.
some point pretty quickly, that's when we both found ourselves in Nathan's class.
In 2014, correct.
Yeah, okay. So, and that's when the focus on acting. And had you done, other than the kind of bit things and the dancing, acting stuff, performance, and the roles you were playing, had you taken any training along the way for acting, like while you were in New York? Or
So no, I had to start from scratch. With
Right.
the acting, I had to start from scratch. You're probably familiar with the Actor Center, Todd.
Yes, I used to
Yes.
teach there myself. Yeah.
So they were like, "Oh, you can't get in unless you've got theater credits."
Right. Right.
Oh.
So
That's
I
right.
had to like go away for like a year and a half
Oh,
and
wow.
do amateur dramatics for about a year and a half. And I did about like 5 to 6 plays of amateur dramatics. Went back to the Actor Center, said, "Here are
Boom.
my reviews.
Right.
Here are my credits. Let
Right.
me sign up."
Yeah, the Actor Center was a great resource for all of us, right in the heart of Soho. They shut it down a few years ago around COVID. They found a way to shut it all down. But yeah, that's funny. I had no problem. I just slipped right in. I was like, "What's up, American? You're welcome." Boom. They were like, "Here's the keys." I said, "Thanks."
Yeah, but you obviously had your credits. You had like a built-up
I had a
resume,
bachelor's
so to
degree in
speak,
theater arts. Yeah.
you know,
So I didn't have to.
and they could see you were a pro. But I was
Immediately, like as soon as I walked in the door, they were like, "What is this? We have not seen anything like this." And then I go, "Yeah, I know. I'm here. You're welcome, London. Anyway,
I had to work for it, Todd. I had to work for it.
it's fine.
It
I
was
get it.
hard.
I
It
get
was
it.
hard grafts, but
Going
I'm glad
going
I
back
did
to
because I had a good time.
discipline thing. Yeah, yeah, and we had a good time in the class. And by the way, I keep talking about it, but at some point I would like to bring that back, that format, um, that workout format for actors. Just a weekly drop in where you get a scene and you spit it out. Because there was nothing better for keeping the tool sharp for an actor than that thing.
It was a great
Um,
class.
yeah, yeah, kind of miss it.
I do miss it. Yeah.
So, how was your success level in London then? 14 years.
So basically, last 14 years have been, as you know, I did a lot of French theatre to get
Hmm.
into the Actors Centre, did a lot of great roles, learnt a lot about acting, done a lot of short films, did two independent feature films, one of them being that vampire movie that you saw.
Hmm.
Yeah, let's talk about the vampire thing because we're still kind of on the edge of Halloween here. I'm looking at a lot of vampire stuff. Is that kind of, did you find yourself a little niche there, Amanda?
I think as artists, we just got to go with the flow with what's offered to us, right?
Well,
You
we
know,
have the Vampire Resurrection, we have the Vampire King, we have Witch, we have the Mistress, Dead Destination. A lot of these are sounding like uh, kind of naughty sexual networking London, little naughty and like dark kind of movies.
do you
What's
know,
going
I'm
on?
I'm more of a, to be honest
Dish.
with you, I think I'm more of a comedy actress.
Yeah.
Um, but you know what? When the opportunity arises, if the audition is there,
Hmm.
go with it. And I
Yeah.
think it was just a moment in time, right? If opportunities are being offered to you and you're auditioning for things, lean into it.
But
Go with the
what do you
flow.
think? Yeah, of course, of
You had a
course.
vampire era.
I
Yeah,
had a vampire era.
you had a
Thank you,
little
Jay.
vampire.
I
Yeah.
Yeah.
did.
But what do you think it is about you that they went, okay, she's got to be like, she's
She's a
perfect for our
vampire.
vampire. Yeah.
Well, in Vampire Resurrection, I was actually a vampire slayer. So let's get that right. I
Oh.
wasn't actually a vampire per se.
Mm-hmm.
I was slaying the
Okay.
vampires.
Fair
All
enough.
right.
Fair enough.
So I think I made a pretty good kick-ass
Vampire
vampire
Slayer.
slayer. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was
Yeah.
quite
Love it.
fun chopping the heads off of vampires. Like it was,
I love it.
Listen, it's a dirty job, but
Someone's got to do it.
thank you, Jay.
Yeah.
Um,
somebody's got to be slaying.
someone's got to
Yeah.
slay those things.
Someone's
I
got to
mean,
slay
it's
those
not going to be
vampires.
me. I'm not. I don't like to get
Todd. No, Todd is
blood
the
on my
vampire.
hands. I don't like to
And
get blood on my hands.
just on your teeth.
It's good stuff. Okay. I want to talk about Jay's mental health
Mm.
because
Okay.
we've got concerns.
Mm.
No, I'm just kidding.
First cause of mental health. Call the person out on it. No, I'm joking.
Immediately shine a spotlight in his face and go. Okay, but no, for sure, Amanda. Now you're moving into the next phase of your career. Still kind of in the entertainment, and with all the experience and background that you have, you're still on the entertainment tip, if you will. But now you've created kind of this. How would you describe it? I'll let you describe it.
So yes, you are right, Todd. I've created this brand called Selfworks, which is kind of this sort of series of practical well-being exercises designed to soothe anxiety and depression whilst boosting confidence and energy levels.
Mm-hmm.
And what it is, it's a well-being toolkit, if you will, of well-being exercises that an individual can practice as a standalone exercise based on circumstance and need at a certain time in their life or during the day. But then the more well-being exercises that they learn, they're able to merge the exercises and practice them together as a series. And what's great about these exercises is that they're under 5 minutes. So if you're feeling anxious or stressed out or you need a boost, they're kind of like these little tools, really, that help you to realign and to center and get yourself refocused for the task at hand.
Mm.
And what's been great is that obviously, I'm a performer, I'm an actor. Just recently, I have developed a three-part well-being workshop series for actors designed specifically to help and support them. So there was one workshop on stress and nerves for actors and how to deal with that. Another workshop was confidence empowerment for actors. And the third workshop was well-being and mindfulness for actors.
Right. So you're
Wow.
taking kind of your knowledge and understanding of the stress and pressures that performers and actors are under, and you've applied what you've learned to sort of create little tools for actors to get by.
It's
Absolutely.
fantastic.
Yeah, it's
Thank you,
great.
Jay.
I
Yeah.
also I
Thank you
suffer
so
from
much.
and it's great. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Jay.
Okay.
Thank you,
No,
Todd.
Yeah. Thanks,
really.
Todd. Appreciate it.
No, but I mean, I think also I agree with you, Todd, but I think it also goes deeper. So it is my experience as an actor and a performer and understanding what actors go through. But
Yeah.
so too, because I'm a qualified social worker,
Yeah.
um, I also bring in elements of my experience as a social worker, working within social services and understanding the concept of just human beings in general and their needs. So there's a lot
Mm.
of that that's brought into the work. There's a lot of my own life experience that's brought into the work, my own success, my own failure, everything.
Yeah.
The performance aspect, the dancing aspect, the creative actor aspect. And then there's also, I'm also a Reiki healer. So there's a lot of elements around being able to use tools and concepts of healing yourself. So the work is really a conglomeration, if you will, of breath work, of affirmations, of somatics, of body work, of using specific symbols to help to really just align and enhance one's well-being.
Hmm. So how did you make the shift? Now,
Wow.
it sounds like you've had some really some great success in your career, starting with the dance, and that was based on a lot of personal effort, but also a lot of talent. Then you kind of shift into um, acting and come to London. That's a whole obviously New York, then Italy, and now London. So lots of, let's say, incarnations of Amanda along the way. At what point do you decide, okay, I want to start kind of helping people in this way?
Well, the point is now, and I think
No, but
also,
you went to school. I mean, you're certified counselor. You took
so
Reiki
I
training. I mean, like there's a point where you go, okay, I need to start like, you know, understanding how ways that I can improve people's lives.
So the point was where I went back to school, I went back to university, I qualified with
Oh,
a first class honors degree in social work. Yeah.
right. When was that?
That was so I graduated actually in COVID. I graduated in 2020.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think this whole shift is actually quite recent.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started working within social services. And as I started working in social services, basically, I had gone through my own personal transformation as a human
Right.
being.
Right.
Um, I went into recovery. And so basically what happens is when you're in recovery, what they teach is that you have to have a program to
Mm.
help you to stay on track, as it were.
Right.
And so I started developing my own personal program, if you will, of the breath work, of the affirmations, of these sort of symbols that I'd created for myself, of the somatics, incorporating dance and acting and all of that kind of stuff.
Mm.
And it started working, and I had amazing benefits with myself in terms of my own personal development and just staying focused and aligned. Then, when I qualified as a social worker and I started working with families on my caseload, I started to find a recurring need.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then I thought, let me see if I can start sharing this. And then I started sharing the material and the model with my families on my caseload within social services. And people started shifting, and I started to see a wider benefit. And then
Yeah.
I was like, okay, let me see if I can start rolling this out. So last year, I started rolling the workout on all of the social media platforms to see if I could gain a following. And then more recently, I was like, okay, let me use my expertise as an actor and performer and take the model and see now if I can merge that working with actors and performers to help them become the best version of themselves through the practice of the model. And when they become the best versions of themselves, then they become a better performer or a better actor or a better dancer.
Right.
So that's how it all unfolded.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's a
Jeez.
full transformational
Yeah.
thing happening with you. Um, I guess because there was a time when, as a performer, we there was only a few things available to us to kind of let off steam, if you will, right? And those things were not the healthiest, particularly for people who maybe people forget this. Obviously, dance is a physical activity, but acting and all types of performance, even presentational stuff like you do as well, it requires a great deal of physical effort. You have to be sharp at all times. And did you find yourself kind of failing in that at some point where you were like, okay, you mentioned you were in recovery, so.
Yeah. What do you mean by failing? In what regard?
I mean, were you starting to see like, okay, I'm no longer capable to maintain the level of mental and physical robustness that I need in order to be at the top of my game? Something's got to change, right?
Are you talking in specifically with regards to acting or as generally as a human being?
Well, I guess with the performance in general, and then well, in regards to being a human being as well. Like, when did you go into recovery?
So I went into recovery, I think it was 2016.
Okay, this is for
Um,
alcohol, right?
uh, I'm a clubber, I'm a
Yeah,
raver,
I
I'm a
remember.
party girl. So,
We partied. We spent some nights in the pub.
everything that goes with, partying.
Yeah,
So yeah,
we
sure,
get it.
throw that
Okay,
in.
the whole
Yeah,
enchilada.
the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, yeah. Which is difficult. Now that's my point, because that's difficult for someone that you work all day and you're doing physically engaging stuff, dancing, presenting, acting, and you
Yeah,
need to be on point, sharp, available, blah blah blah. But you also have this kind of mechanism in place, which for someone who's clearly, from what you've described, energetic from childhood,
yeah,
jumping out of the womb and
yes,
dancing, you have
yes,
that kind of energy. That was your mechanism for decompression,
yes,
stress relief, right,
yes,
anxiety relief, and stuff like that. But again, not the healthiest, even though perfectly acceptable back in the day.
yeah.
Everybody's doing that, and an actor in the pub. There's nothing foreign about that. But these days now, at some point you had to say, well, okay, something's got to give. This is not a mechanism that is sustainable.
Yes, absolutely. That was in 2016. I remember having a night out and I woke up and I was like, I just decided.
Did you have that
I
conversation with
messaged,
yourself? Did you say Amanda? Did you literally say Amanda?
yes, I did. I was like, Amanda, enough is enough.
Yeah.
It's time to grow up.
Yeah.
And I messaged my brother and I was like, that is the last time I'm drinking, right?
Right.
And that literally was the last time I was drinking. But what's special about this program? It's not about anybody who has sort of substance misuse per se. I mean, obviously, that was my experience. What's special about the well-being exercises is it gives the ability for anybody and everybody to transform in their own way, shape, or form. So
Right.
it can be transforming and moving into recovery. You don't have to move into recovery from substance misuse per se, but you can move into recovery from maybe past experiences that have been weighing you down, maybe
Mm-hmm.
stuff that no longer serves you, maybe
Mm.
old patterns that have been negatively impacting you through the process of
Mm-hmm.
these exercises. It gives the individual the opportunity to move into recovery in their own way, shape, or form. And through the practice of the work and the exercises, they start to self transform, they start to self develop, they start to self strengthen. And that's what's beautiful about it, because it's a program for everybody. It's designed for everybody. So
Mm.
a lot of the stuff is about self healing and self transformation, but through the person's own specific lived experience. And
Mm-hmm.
what's great is when I work with clients one to one, I really look at them as a person in their own entirety. And I say, okay, where are you right now? How do you want to transform, self develop? And then I work with them and I cherry pick certain exercises from the model that will be best suited to them and their specific purpose in order to become the best versions of themselves.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. That's kind of where I'm trying to to understand where the trajectory goes, because um, it's interesting to me that you had recognized that there's a shift that needs to happen for yourself personally, um, and then you kind of take that into, uh, and we're talking about 8 years ago, essentially, right? So
Correct.
then you go on this kind of journey of, okay, I need to change. Here's how I'm going to do it. And then through that process, I'm going to also learn how I can help others.
Yes.
Through that process, then you start to kind of recognize that, well, these are tools that can work irregardless of whatever the source is,
Yes.
right? The foundation of a person's issue, because everything is built on stress, anxiety, fear, right?
Yeah.
And we all experience that in a myriad of ways, and we all deal with that in a variety of ways. But maybe now, through your abilities and your experience, now you've found a system. Sounds like that can approach anyone, no matter where the source of that anxiety comes from, that stress or trauma, whatever the source of that is. You have a sort of methodology that can work specifically for an individual. Is that correct? Am I getting it right?
I couldn't have said it any better.
Oh, well, why did you? I just let me talk.
I love your interpretation of that, Todd. I absolutely
Yeah.
love your interpretation of that, because I think, obviously, I can explain the work in my own way.
Mm,
And it's just beautiful when somebody else can kind of understand what I'm saying and
mm.
interpret it for their own sort of personal use. So I think you explained that absolutely beautifully.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Um,
Well, because it is, I find it interesting what you're saying. I I guess part of the reason this, even for me, this project exists, Offstage Acting, is because I'm interested in assisting aspiring actors, people who are working actors, interested in what it is and what it takes to um, have some perspective on it and feel good about the process and recognize that, this is a unique thing we're in. And I know that what you're doing is for kind of anybody, but now you're talking about specifically you have a program that even focuses a little bit more intently on actors themselves and performers in general, which means that you have a specific recognition of the kind of problems that occur for actors and performers, because it's a little bit more intense, because we put ourselves purposefully out there. We make ourselves purposefully vulnerable. You're forced to. That comes part and parcel with the job, right? Whereas a lot of people would never dare to do that. So it's interesting to delineate those two and say, oh, okay, if you're out there and vulnerable, and then you're making yourself more vulnerable, you're exposed to all kinds. What are some tools that you can use along the way that keep you centered, keep you focused, help you understand who you actually are, as opposed to this thing you're meant to be playing, or this work that you're supposed to be doing, this
Mm.
job in front of you, right?
Absolutely. And I think when you're talking about sort of putting yourself out there, and, there's points where you're going to feel vulnerable, I think as an actor or a performer of any
Yeah.
shape or form, when you're walking into that interview or walking into that audition or walking onto the stage, you have to feel good about
Yeah.
yourself,
Yeah.
And as I said before, I did a great workshop series just past now for workshops. And the second workshop is based on confidence and empowerment for actors.
Mm.
And it's great because it's the session is 2 hours, and the actors at the end walk away with 2 practical exercises that they can actually incorporate within their daily practice, within their lives as an actor, to be able to access that confidence and access that empowerment when they
Mm.
need to.
Wow. All right. Well, I'm curious. What about? Are you curious, Jay? I'm curious.
Very. Extremely.
Is there something you can? What can you do? What can you do for me and Jay right now? We're two anxious, nervous, vulnerable actors.
Okay.
We're exposed. You heard Jay earlier say that
Hmm.
he's feeling the weight of the world on his shoulders.
Right.
I probably have a lot of things I'm compensating for, clearly, because I'm sort of this angry guy who hides behind what is meant to be a sense of humor, quote unquote, but often it's not funny.
Okay.
So clearly, there's a lot of
It was
defense
that time.
mechanisms up
Okay.
in my world. Let's see what can you do? How can
Okay.
you help us?
So I'm just going to share then a basic exercise
Okay. You
today with
game,
both of
Jay? You ready?
Yeah, I'm in. I'm
you. Are
I'm
you
getting up.
You're all
are
in.
you
Okay.
in? It's literally between 1 to 2 minutes, very short, very sweet.
Okay.
And I think both of you will be able to sort of gain some benefit from me sharing it. So, what I'm going to share with you today is called the comfort exercise, right?
Mm-hmm.
And basically, the idea is through the process of just holding yourself or rubbing, you are easing yourself into a place of peace and comfort and contentedness. So, for you, Jay, specifically, if you're dealing with maybe some nerves or anxiety, through your intention and through the placement of your hands in your breath work, you are intentionally allowing yourself to ease your anxieties away. And through the process of your thoughts, you're just allowing yourself to peacefully bring calm towards you. Todd?
Yeah. Does it matter where I rub myself or?
So basically, I'm just going to ask you to either place your right or your left hand on your chest, like
Oh,
so.
chest. Okay. I've
Yeah.
already got my hand somewhere else, but I guess that's not appropriate for a
Okay.
podcast about.
Do you
Okay.
want to just move it? Lovely. Okay.
Let's see the hand.
And so we're just going to hold it there. And with intention, we're going to think about comforting ourselves in the way that we personally would like to be comforted.
Mm-hmm. Is it right hand or left hand?
Either your choice, whatever
Okay.
you feel you resonate best with. And
Mm-hmm.
now I'm just going to allow you just to center in. And as you center in, I invite you now to give yourself 3 luscious, juicy, deep breaths, inhaling through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. And another 2, inhaling through the nose. And just one more. Lovely. And now I just invite you to take that same hand and just gently place it on your belly button, just on your belly button. And as you hold it there, I invite you now to give yourself another 3 luscious, juicy, deep breaths, inhaling through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth.
I got my eyes closed. Is that all right?
That's okay. Just gently comforting yourself. One more. Lovely. And now I invite you to take that same hand and just gently place it at the back of the nape of your neck.
Mm-hmm.
Just at the back of your neck, holding it there with intention. Giving yourself 3 luscious, juicy, deep breaths. Inhaling through the nose. Lovely. And just exhaling out. through the mouth. And one more. Lovely. And now just taking the same hand and just placing it on your head without interfering with your earphones, just holding it there with intention, inhaling through the nose, breathing it out, exhaling out through the mouth, and another 2. And one more. And then last but not least, just sliding your arms down to hug yourself in the crisscross hug position. And as you hug yourself, I invite you to give yourself 3 luscious, juicy, deep breaths. Inhaling through the nose. And just exhaling out through the mouth. One more time. And then when you are ready, feel free to relax your arms down by your side and just slowly come back to the present moment.
Right.
Thank you.
Wow.
Pleasure.
So that's cool. How do you feel, Jay?
I feel good. I feel
Feel
good. I feel more aware of
relaxed?
the space around me.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel?
Feel very chill, man. I just slipped into something there. I actually felt my neck pop at some point, like crack, crack, crack. Like
Oh,
just
nice.
shoulders are slumped now. What were we talking about?
So that's generally what happens with the work is as you because the exercises, the way I see the exercise is that you are your own sort of self-healer, as it were. It's not me healing you and transforming you. It's you healing and transforming yourself
Yeah.
through the power of your own practice. So your body knows exactly what it needs,
Yeah.
right? So through the power of your own practice, through the power of your own breath, whatever needs to be transformed, healed, or aligned will happen. So your experiences, Todd, of, oh, you felt your neck popping, oh, things started to realign within your own body. That's
Yeah.
where the healing needed to go for you. Jay, you started to become sort of more aware of your surroundings and more present. So, in social work, we talk about everybody being an expert of their own lived experience. And the great thing about this exercise is what Todd may feel and gain and benefit from the exercise will be entirely different from what you gain and experience from the exercise.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and it's
really
like,
like that approach. Yeah.
teach Amanda Fish sort of thing, right? Like you teach someone to do it themselves, learn how to
Absolutely.
do these things
Yeah.
and give themselves what they need.
Absolutely. So I essentially just become more about being a facilitator, as it were. So I'm sharing the material with you, I'm sharing the exercise, I'm facilitating sort of the healing or the transformational process, as it were. But because you are the director of your life, because you are the main actor and the protagonist in your life, it is you who channels your self transformation and the enhanced well being perspective of your life through the power of your practice. So, really, you start becoming your own healer and your own guru and your own director.
Love it.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Empowering.
And I think the breath, definitely, I mean, that's something that if you work on it and get really good at it, there's a lot of power in good breath work. I practiced yoga for many years religiously, I would
You
say. I
seem like
still,
a Wim Hof guy, Todd. Do you know what that is?
yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
know who. That's my partner, Justina. She likes to. We got a
Oh,
cold pod. We got a cold pod out there in the back, and we ice it down. And Wim Hof, you definitely have to. It's all about the breathing to get into that cold water. But I did practice yoga for a long time. I was probably in the studio 4 or 5 times a week
hmm,
for a good 7 years. And although I
wow.
still do yoga now, I'm not as tuned in as I was once. But breath, you know, because those poses and things, the physical holding of certain poses and things, and the moving between the poses, a lot of breath work there. And you can destroy all kinds of viruses and diseases and uh, chuck out a lot of anxiety just by doing the breath. And it's hard to remember that sometimes. Um,
Yeah.
the cortisol levels go up, the anger levels, anxiety goes up, the pressure, and we blow it off by shouting or getting angry. In my case, smashing things, knocking things over,
Just bring
physically.
in the comfort exercise, Todd.
Yeah, I
It'll bring
see.
you back
I can
down
see.
to
Just to take
alignment.
a moment for yourself. Yeah. I
Yeah.
hope audiences followed along with that. And if you didn't,
I would have.
scroll back, try it for yourself. You'll see there's a genuine, physical, palpable, visceral sensation that comes with the completion of the exercise.
What's great about the exercise is there's actually 4 different versions to that exercise. So, the comfort exercise was actually one of the first original exercises that I created way back when in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of my experience as a social worker. And as I started working with people, they started giving me different versions. So I
Hmm,
came up with the original idea, and it's through the process of sharing it and people giving me feedback
Right.
over the years that when I share the exercise, I always give the 4 different versions to the exercise, because the one that I shared with you with just holding was version B.
Mm.
Version A is with rubbing.
hmm,
Right.
Version C is back to back version A and B together with the rubbing and the holding. And version D is version A, B, or C, but with the eyes closed, which is what you were naturally doing. Actually, the both of you, both Todd and
Yeah.
Jay, you were closing your eyes because you were naturally wanting to go into sort of a deeper state, as it were. And
Yeah.
so that is version D. So
hmm.
there's always different versions to each exercise, and I like to kind of give people the option to have carte blanche to choose whatever versions they want to work from, because one day version A would work for them, but then the next day something
Mm.
else may come up and be like, actually, do you know what? I feel like I'm resonating more with version B. So it's always good
Mm-hmm.
to be able to have that choice to work from.
Okay. Right. Right. Certain instances will require a variance in the version.
Hmm.
Um, right. So
Because human
yeah.
beings, we experience different things. One day you may be feeling one thing,
Yeah.
another day you may be experiencing something entirely different. So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
way that I work with a client is like, I'm like, okay, this is your menu. You are
Mm.
the main cook, the main director, the main protagonist. This is your menu. You add a little bit of the salt, the pepper, or the chili based on what you fancy during that day. And so then you start to become the curator, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
of your own well being, because you have a set of tools to work from
Right.
and lots of different versions from those
Right.
tools.
And I guess it just takes a little bit of practice, individual practice, before you kind of recognize, okay, this version or that, this works for me under this circumstance or that circumstance, right?
Well, it's
Uh,
kind of like going to the gym. So you go to the
right.
gym, right? And you're going to get that endorphin hit from going to the gym. You're going to feel good,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But if you start going to the gym every day, you start to notice more long term benefits. Your body starts to change. You start getting that six pack. You start losing weight or whatever it is. It's the same with this well being material. Obviously, both you and Jay were able to get imminent and direct benefit from practicing the exercise in the moment with me now.
Yeah.
But if you continue your practice with this exercise on a day to day basis, you will slowly start to see the long term benefits. The way you start reacting to things are going to be less reactive. You're going to be more calm. You're going to be more focused. So you start getting more long term benefits with long term practice on a day to day basis as well.
Right. And your time working in the care homes and with families and other, I mean, you probably worked with some severe cases, I imagine.
Yes.
So, what did you kind of notice right away with the change? And because Jay and I, we're pretty chill guys to begin with, obviously, and we don't have too many problems. Although Jay likes to complain, and so do I. But you've encountered people who have genuine life problems.
Yes.
So, kind of walk us through the substantial change that you saw after this
So,
practice.
first of all, a person has to buy into the material. There's a lot
Yeah.
of people that say, look, well-being's not my thing. Thank you very much.
Right.
And that's totally respected. I think the whole thing is that you really have to be able to be interested and resonate with the material, because you have to believe in your mind that you have the power to self transform, to self heal your own life through the power of your practice. If you don't
Mm.
believe that, if you don't believe that you can do that for yourself, it's not going to work. And it was so interesting. And I take myself back to that one comment that Nathan used to say back in acting class. And I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if you remember this, Todd. He used to say, guys, don't walk on stage thinking about a bacon, ham, and cheese sandwich, right? Because the audience is going to get that you're thinking about something else. They're not going to believe that you're in character, right? They're not going to believe your character. It's the same thing with your well being practice,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have to believe through your own intention that through the power of your own practice, you have the singular power to be able to step into the best version of yourself, the happiest, the most calm, the most productive, the most aligned through the power of your practice. So you have to believe.
Yeah.
So to answer your questions, I work with a myriad of clients. Yes, the families that I work with have a diverse range of issues and problems. So I'm not going to give every single family this well-being material. First of all, I have to see a specific need when I work with them. And then I say, look, I've got this well-being material. Are you interested in me sharing this? And if they resonate with it and if they're interested, yes.
Mm.
But then I have my clients outside of my day job within social services. And those are the clients that I work with on a one to one basis, where I say, okay, what are your goals? What are the things that you want to work on? And then the client will tell me where they are. And then I will go through the self works model, as it were, and I will cherry pick certain exercise based on the client's specific need and curate a well being toolkit for them to practice on a day to day
Mm.
basis so they
Okay.
can sort of shift. But obviously, Todd, with the group work, I work within the structure of the needs and circumstance of the group. So, for example, the acting, three-part acting workshop that I've done, I've curated it and specialized it specifically and made it specifically within the needs of an actor.
Right. Yeah, and I think
Mm.
actors in general don't have too much difficulty. I mean, Jay and I are able to leap right in and commit. That's one of the things that actors have in terms of their training, is that um, we understand that, coming in committed, taking on the process as you're given it. These are tools that actors have learned over time. So, not to reject outright those things which maybe make people feel, I don't know, corny or silly, or whereas Jay doesn't have any problem with that. Certainly, he's perfectly willing to just jump in and try anything.
Pretty
Um,
much. Yeah.
but that's where the benefits come in, because if you are committed, and I like what you said about, with your intention, it's on you.
Yeah.
But you might have some difficulty, I imagine, in that commitment phase or that convincing phase, where it's like, how do you get people to go to that level where they're able to commit themselves to the practice?
Well, it's the way I like to see it, Todd. It's kind of like a radio frequency. It's like, you have different channels and different stations on the
Mm,
radio, right?
yeah.
Some people like to listen to rock. Me personally, I like my EDM, house music. Some people like classical music.
Mm,
There are going to be a certain type of person that resonates sort of with that frequency, as it were. And the people that gravitate towards the certain type of material are naturally going to have a more of a cohesive experience with it. For some, well-being's not their thing. That's not. So I think it's more of a frequency thing. You have to be opened and aligned to the work. And I think once you resonate with that, then the work itself is really going to have efficacy, because you want it and you believe in it and you resonate with it.
So you're not persuading people to get into it. They are or they aren't, and you respect whatever their frequency is.
I mean,
Essentially.
yeah, exactly. I work for social services, and for service day, I got up and I shared an exercise called the rocking exercise, which is it's a really interesting somatic exercise, which is actually in the actors wellbeing workshop. It's all around rocking. So I've developed this exercise that through the process of rocking, we're able to sort of comfort and heal and sort of nurture ourselves. It's all based in a chair, so it's quite good for office workers or even actors that are studying lines. But when I got up there in social services, a lot of the people are not, they're more kind of evidence practice based. And so I got up and I said, look, if well-being's not your thing, no worries, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, right? And I said, but if there's some practitioners out there that are looking for more tools in which to work with their families, please do feel free to lend me an ear. And then I said, for those that are interested in their own personal practice and are curious and open to their own well-being experience and would like to learn something, lean in even further. But then, yes, I gave the people that weren't interested in an out, not to participate. But yes, it is a choice. It is a choice, and I'm not forcing anybody to engage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you should try forcing them. Just to, sit down
Look,
and
there's 7
comfort
billion
yourself.
people on the planet.
Okay, that's true. There's plenty
It's
of
going to take a
time.
lot of time.
You are going to be comfortable. Breathe. Listen.
No,
If you-
because if they don't believe it, it's not going to work on them.
No, it's true. It's like homeopathy.
Exactly.
If they don't believe it, won't work. Amanda, that was great. Really delightful.
What a journey you've been on.
Yeah, totally. Anything else you'd like to share with the good folks?
No, I just want to say, it's just such a pleasure to see it. You guys look so at peace and at calm.
Yeah.
Having just,
Totally centered
thank you
now.
for being open to sharing this exercise with me, because as I said, not everybody's open to it. And so I'm just glad that the two of you were open to it. It's just so nice to sort of see your faces just really just kind of, at calm and at peace. It's a
It
beautiful thing
worked.
to
It
see.
absolutely worked. I think we're
Yeah.
different people than when we started the podcast.
I
Jay and I were complete animals, and now we're like
Animals.
human beings. We're like just genuine. It's awesome. I can't even think of anything funny to say anymore. It's awful.
You're
don't
so at peace
And yet
and you're
you're-
so calm.
Yeah, I'm so calm that I don't have any more
Anything to say. You're so zen
acerbic
right now.
wit to interject. But I
You're
will
gonna
say,
take a nap right now. You're
yeah, I'm
so
ready
at
to
peace.
I'm like falling asleep. It was excellent. So yeah, but I will say thank you so much, Amanda. It was a really pleasure to have you on the show. And we're going to hear more from you, I'm sure, in the future. Check you out at self.works.com. We'll post that in the show notes so everybody can find you. And if you're interested, Self-Works, because it works.
self-works.com.
Yeah, we-
Selfworks.com.
Might have to work on the name of that, but it's fine. The method works.
The method works.
The URL might not, but it was fantastic. Check her out, Amanda Kay, Self-Works, and we'll hope that everybody tries it, practices it, and you'll see the results. Jay and I are living proof.
Living proof.
Living
You
proof.
guys look amazing. You look so
We're
zen.
glowing. We don't look
You're
as good as you,
glowing.
but yeah.
Don't look as good as you. That's
All right.
Aw.
Amanda, thanks again,
Mwah.
darling. We'll talk
Thank
soon.
you for having me.
Mwah.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Jay. Take
Thank
care.
you. Bye. There she goes. Amanda. Yay. Bye. Mwah. Oh, and a little kiss to go. Isn't that delightful? Jay, I think she's right. You're improved. I don't know if I am, but you definitely.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
I think we are both just sort of now We're definitely talking more sensitively towards each other.
We are we're definitely actors because just someone comes onto our podcast and goes,
And
"Oh,
says,
try this," and
try
we just
this, and we just
immediately just
embrace.
go to the other spectrum of wherever we were.
Yeah. What are we
When
doing?
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, okay, we're doing that? Okay, great. Yes.
self-soothe. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Great.
But it does take definite commitment, dedication.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes you actually, doing the things.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Which you know what, that really serves a purpose. I went to, I didn't mention this before, but I went and did a singing lesson the other day,
Oh, great.
locally. Yeah, with a wonderful woman that is a great singing coach and stuff. And I just wanted to get my range, and I hadn't busted the pipes out for a while, so I just wanted to kind of get a sense of that.
Well
And
done.
she had a lot of exercises that she was throwing out, which I think she probably, it felt like she meets resistance in giving those exercises, because people feel silly, especially and you got to do things with your mouth, and you got to.
And then you just did it, and
I
she
just
was
did
like,
it.
"Oh my gosh, great.
Yeah,
I didn't have to like do anything
I
to
have
get
to.
you to do it."
Yeah, I didn't have to coerce you into like embracing the process here. And I thought to myself, if you want to know the honest truth, I thought, yeah, and guess what? I get more instruction out of this 1 hour lesson, which is costing me money.
Yeah, yeah.
And we get to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to
Yeah,
waste
totally.
time. She tells me to do it. I'm paying her money. I'm going to do
Yeah,
it.
listen, you're here for the hour, like, just
Right.
whatever is your just give it to
You
me.
give it to me because I want
Fantastic.
to. I want to advance and improve.
Let's
So
go.
let's
Let's
go.
just go.
Exactly. So when
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
comes onto the show and says, "Here's a great way that you can,
Comfort
comfort
yourself.
yourself and find a center," then okay, throw it out
Great.
there. I'm gonna grab it.
Great, let's do it.
Yeah,
Great.
free comfort. What's wrong with that?
Free nothing. I didn't ask her, I think. Maybe you'll be able to ask. Do you ever like it's so helpful when you have someone else telling you these things, but
Yeah,
then when you tell it to yourself, why is it so much harder?
I don't know because you don't believe it.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Why is it that when someone else is like leading me, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, you're right."
I
And then like
know. I do
I'm
deserve it.
alone and I
Yeah,
do it and I'm like, I do it. I really do it and I'm like, "Yeah, no."
yeah.
Yeah, that's
No,
cute.
no. Yes, right,
Why?
right. That's cute. You
Oh,
gotta.
that's cute.
Do you ever
And
look in
then
the Do you ever look in the mirror and do like, "Hey Jay, you are super special"? No.
no, no, I look in the mirror and I think of exactly what I think of when I see in the mirror. So sometimes it's like, "Oh my god," but sometimes it's like, "Oh, nice." It's just whatever I think.
Right.
It's
I want you to look at me right now in the eyeballs.
okay,
Jay,
Todd.
you're super special, and you deserve all the best things. You're a great person, and I love you, man.
Todd, you're super special and you're a very hard worker
Oh, thank you.
and you're very talented
Oh,
and I hope truly the best for you. And I love you.
wow. That's beautiful.
Thank you. It's beautiful from you
Wow.
too.
That works. Life works. Self works.
Self works.
Life works with self works. I think it worked.
Great.
All right, Jay.
All right.
Good
Hot
times.
toddy.
Look at that. I think that changed the whole dynamic of our show. We're going to have to do that before every episode.
Yeah, you know what? That could be that could be something fun.
Something
a new
to do.
ritual.
A new ritual. We got it. Thank you, Amanda,
Yeah,
for
Amanda.
joining and sharing. Thank you, Boy Andy, for all the technical support. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, audiences. We'll see you next time on the Offstage Acting Podcast. Take care of yourself.
Thank you for having me. I had a great time. Thank you so much. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Jay, for being such great sports and for because I didn't think that y'all would want to do the exercise, you know.
It's funny, Amanda. He's right. He did not tell me we were doing this. He just knows that. No, no, no. He'll never ever. He always springs things like, "Oh, we're just gonna do this," and I'm like, "Okay." He wasn't joking.
Yeah, I
He
didn't
does
tell
not
Jay
tell
in
me anything.
advance.
He
Okay,
tells
Yeah.
me
so you
nothing
didn't know.
ever.
Okay. Well, the two of you, Jay, you were great sports. Todd, thank you for, agreeing. I guess. You guys both look so zen. No, seriously, like, I mean,
I
it's
bet.
just crazy, like the shift. And there's just, and this happens with
Yeah.
everybody. And that's why I know when I pull out the comfort exercise, boom, I know that's my hot ticket people end, because I know it 100% works. And so you guys just look
Yeah,
glow up.
we're
I love
glowing.
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Glow up. I love
Yeah, I
it.
don't have the this thing. There's the, the tension in between the eyes. That's a really
Oh, that
common
thing.
one
I've
on
got
screen.
I got a terrible one
No,
of
but
those.
you don't. I know.
Not right
I don't
now,
think
but
we
in
had
general.
it after the thing. That's what
No,
I noticed.
in
I was like,
general, I
oh,
have
that's
a
kind of
terrible of this line.
Yeah, I have that one a lot.
It's
I'm like,
awful.
yeah.
Stress. There's a name for that thing. It's awful. All right, Amanda, we'll be in touch. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.